Hello and welcome to this video presentation where I'll talk about the upcoming assignments during our first few weeks of HLT 101 Medical Terminology. Hi, this is Dr. Knowles.
Let's talk about the assignments now. All assignments are due each week on Sunday, no later than 10 p.m. And I have the word sharp there on purpose. And this is because the quizzes will close at 10 p.m. sharp. And this is the way that Moodle is set up. Even if you're already in the exam, it's going to shut you out at 10 p.m. So I'm telling you this to make sure that you take this into consideration as to when you start your quiz. Also, I want you to know that everything is always due on Sunday, no other day of the week, so you don't have to be confused as to when are my assignments due, as well as everything is due no later than 10 p.m. And I mean 10 p.m. to complete your assignments. Okay, I get it. Some people are used to midnight. However, I'm not awake till midnight. If you have a problem accessing the course material or some kind of issue like that, I'm usually awake until 10. So you can text me and say, I have a problem. I can't get this. I can't access the material. You know, every once in a while we have internet glitches. Even the college website can go down from time to time. So if you're finding that you have an issue, you can text me. If I'm still awake, I'm going to respond to you. I won't be awake at midnight, on purpose anyway. So that's the reason for that. I also don't like to encourage you to stay up till midnight working on your assignments. I know some of you are nighttime workers and you like to do your homework late at night. That's fine. You can do it any other day of the week, but to turn in your assignment needs to be by 10 p.m. Okay, let's talk about what kind of assignments you have. You're going to have 2 exams, and both of these exams are locked-down browser exams, meaning that that's how they're proctored. You can go to the testing center. You'll need to make your own testing center appointment. Of course, the testing center is only open Monday through Friday. If you haven't done this before, you can read the instructions or you can reach out to me and I can help you with that. I do like to know when you are going to go to the testing center, but it's also set up so that you don't need to go to a testing center. You can take your exams from home or wherever you can access the internet safely. So those are 2 exams. One is the Part 1 exam. That's going to be due during week 5. There's no midterm. This is in lieu of the midterm. And then there will be a practice exam so that you can practice as many times prior to when you're ready to take the exam or when the deadline is approaching. That will help you. And then for the final exam, you have the same thing. I'm going to create a practice final for you so you can practice as many times as you like before you take the actual final exam. Both exams are only available during the week in which they're due, just so that you know. What other type of assignments? We have quizzes every week. If there's 2 chapters due that week, then there's going to be at least 2 quizzes. Occasionally I have 2 quizzes over 1 chapter, but not very often, maybe only 1 week of that. So that means there'll be 1 or 2 quizzes each week. Also, there's a few written assignments, and there are grading rubrics posted on our course page that will give you all the instructions for them. If you have any questions, again, let me know. Then we have a couple of forum assignments that are not associated with Kahoot. And then we have Kahoot games. The feedback I've gotten from students is they enjoy doing the Kahoot games. It helps them to practice the terms prior to the quiz each week. So there's a forum post each week where you can talk about the Kahoots experience, if you made the podium. Also, I'd like you to throw in there if there's a term that you really particularly had a trouble with and you figured out a way to remember that term and what it means, share that with your classmates. That might help them too. And every once in a while, you just keep an eye out. I may throw in an extra question there that you can talk about in the forum. Yep, just might do that. So we've talked about 2 exams. We have quizzes every week. The exams are taken with a lockdown browser. What Kahoots is, written assignments. I think those are the type of assignments we have in this course. So we'll move on to the next subject.
Let's start with week 1, which I call orientation week. The major things to accomplish this week are to, of course, watch the orientation or welcome to the course videos. Download your course documents. Please review those, your syllabus as well as your list of every assignment for the entire course. It's also a tally sheet where you can write your scores down next to each of those assignments and keep track of your grades. Next, you need to set up your Moodle course page, and I will talk about that in more detail in just a minute. You'll also need to complete your self-introduction. This is both a video and a written self-introduction. Again, we'll go over that in just a moment. The assignment where you're going to receive a grade is called Success in an Online Class. That's a forum post. That's not an extra credit assignment. That is a mandatory assignment. This will determine your attendance within the class. Finally, as a part of setting up for the course, you'll need to download the proctoring software called Respondus. This is so that you can take the Part 1 exam and the final exam. These are the only 2 exams that you will have in this course. Every week you will have assignments due, but primarily that's going to be quizzes. There are some additional assignments, and you will know what they are as you work through the course week by week. Now let's backtrack just a little bit and go into some more detail. As I mentioned, of course, to watch the videos. Secondly, download your course documents. Again, I'm going to reiterate, review the syllabus. That's where I have your expectations, your objectives, and the policies. Those are really important for you to review. You can download them and keep them in your own materials. You can print them, or you can come back and review them. I have them on the Moodle course, and you can pull those up at any time and review them right from the course. Set up your Moodle course page. What does that mean? What I want you to do is set up your course page with your picture, and there are instructions for you to follow so that you can go to your preferences and put a picture up there. Please don't put an avatar. Please put a picture. The reason for the picture is so that when you're communicating with your class members and me through the course discussion each week, people are going to see your picture. They're going to associate that with an actual real person. That's one of the things that many people say about online courses. It doesn't feel like you're actually attending with classmates. This way, people can see your picture. And that's the other reason why I like to see your video up with the introduction. And then the other thing to set up is your notification. Make sure that you're receiving emails and that you're getting emails when someone posts in the forum discussion. That way you know when to return to the course to respond to your classmates. Next, you're going to do your self-introduction. But before you do that, you need to take the VARK or the VARK. And this is a learning preference quiz. It'll take you like 5 minutes or less to complete this quiz. It'll give you a better idea about how you prefer to learn, not just the way you learn, but how you prefer to learn. And then I want you to talk about that in your success assignment as well as in your introduction. All the instructions are on our course page. When you go to write your self-introduction, write it up first. You put it in the big box for the forum post, and you can read from that if you need to create your video. You can create your video by clicking on the video icon, or you can make a video on your phone and upload it to the post. If you have trouble uploading your video, let me know. I can help you out with that. Make sure, though, once you upload your video, that you go through all of the steps and click submit at the bottom of your post, and make sure it's playing. Every once in a while, there's a glitch in the system and your video doesn't play. If it won't play, nobody else can see it either. So make sure that it's playing. Also, a really important point is that you don't sit in front of a lot of bright light like an open window. Otherwise, all you look like is a silhouette, and we really can't see you. So let's make sure that we can see you. Now, what's the next assignment that we need to talk about? That is to install the lockdown browser Respondus on your computer. If you are not going to use your computer at home to take your proctored exams, and you're planning right now to go to the campus and take the exams on campus, I guess you don't need to download the Respondus browser. Most people will be taking their exams from home, so the reason why I ask you to download it now and check it by taking the practice quiz, then the anxiety about downloading the software will not be at the time when you're taking the exam. You don't need any extra anxiety, right? So download it now, check to make sure it's working. If it's not and you're having difficulty, you'll have some time to work it out. It will be at about the 6-week mark when you take that first proctored exam. So you do have time to get all the bugs worked out. But try to do it right now. Check it off the list. And finally, you have a Check Your Knowledge Kahoot game to play. This is a way to practice with Kahoots if you haven't played it before. It's also a way to check to see if you got the key points that I want you to get out of this first orientation week. So now we're going to move on to week 2. Here's an example of the assignments that are due by the end of the second week. Read chapter 1, but I've only assigned pages 2 through 9. This is just the first half of the chapter. It's extremely important to understand what medical terminology is and how the terms are constructed as well as deconstructed. So it's important to understand that this first chapter is not a one and done chapter, as you will be seeing these word parts covered in many of the upcoming chapters throughout the remaining part of the course. So I want you to review and go over the basic concepts in the PowerPoint. Take the pretest before and or after reviewing the material. After you finish this first portion of the concepts of medical terminology, you can learn more about flashcards, take the chapter review that is pertinent to this portion of the content that you reviewed, play the Kahoot games, post in the forum. I've got questions there for you, and then take the quiz only over the concepts of medical terminology. By the end of week 3, all of us will be finished reviewing and reading chapter 1. But in week 3, you're going to be concentrating primarily on the prefixes and the suffixes. I've listed all the yellow tables from the textbook on our course page in Moodle. And in this first chapter of the textbook, you'll find that nearly all of the suffixes and prefixes covered in the course are in this one chapter. It's not 100% true because you'll be seeing some more prefixes and suffixes as you continue with chapters 2 and 3, and occasionally in other chapters you'll come across just a few new suffixes. I don't think there's any more prefixes that'll be introduced throughout the rest of the course. This is why I'm going slowly over chapter 1. Because this is really the key to medical terminology, is learning these prefixes and these suffixes. You need to continue making your flashcards and reviewing them. You can listen to my 7-minute video about reading, defining, and understanding medical terms. I call it Cracking the Code or Crack the Code. Play Kahoots, post in the forum, take the quizzes. One thing I didn't mention in my previous comments about week 2 is that you will be able to take every quiz in this course twice. Why do I do that? Because I want you to get, of course, the highest grade you can possibly get. You can also, if you choose, take the quiz earlier in the week, see how you're doing, then wait, study some more, and take the quiz again. But you do need to know that I have the questions coming randomly, out of the test bank. I don't choose the questions. And those questions will change between the first test and the second test. I also have my underlying reason for having you have the ability to take the quiz twice is it gives you also an opportunity to be exposed to more test questions so that you can check yourself. Have you really learned these terms? Do you really understand? But no matter what, the highest grade you achieve, either on quiz 1 or quiz 2, will be the grade that stays in the grade book. So it's a win-win for you. Thanks for joining me in this video about the first few weeks of the course. The first 3 weeks of the course will be open so that you can move ahead in your studies of Chapter 1. However, you will only be able to take the chapter quizzes or the weekly quizzes at this point in the week in which they are assigned. But let me explain. Once week 1 ends on Sunday at 2200 or 10 p.m., you may take the week 2 quiz beginning at 2201 on that Sunday. However, its due date and time is not until next week Sunday, no later than 10 p.m. And this is how I have every week set up, meaning that you can work ahead in studying, but will not be allowed to take the quiz early unless you've made a special request to work ahead. Should you need more clarification, please get in touch with me via text, cell, or email, depending on the need for speed. And thank you again, and I'll talk to you in the next video.